Hey guys, Joel Haver here. In my last video I talked about John Cassavetes, who sort of grandfathered in independent filmmaking. He did it in the 50s, 60s and made movies himself, distributed them himself, and he's such an admirable figure to me. And something I always think of my own work and what I want to accomplish is I think, what would John Cassavetes do if he were alive and creating in the modern day? And I can't help but feel that same fuck the system energy would be used to put stuff online, because I think he was very against the distribution systems, the studio systems, the stuff that took control away from the artist and took the film away from honesty. And I think he couldn't, if somebody with his mind today was creating, I can't see him not embracing the avenues offered online to distribute and create freely. And so when I look at my own work, it's something I wanted to do anyways, but I always ask myself, like, am I doing something as bold as John Cassavetes was doing back in the day? And I'd like to try to keep that honesty and keep that mindset as I go forward, because I always find that I really love films that push the boundaries for their time, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It just has to be something that shows that they were thinking outside the box in some sort of direction. And John Cassavetes is a great example because of how he created and distributed and even shot and told stories and focused on humanity. It's not just the means that he made the movie, but the content of his films was really great as well. But and I have a harder and harder time truly enjoying theatrical movies nowadays, because I just don't think the bold thing is in a theater anymore. And I've seen some lately that I really enjoyed. Everything Everywhere All at Once was definitely creative. I was like, oh, thank God I'm watching something that's like cool and trying things and surprising. And it wasn't perfect, but I couldn't help but enjoy myself. And then I saw Marcel the Shell with Shoes On the other week, and I really liked that. That was sweet, and it felt a little humbler and a little smaller scale, and I really enjoyed that as well. But beyond those, and even those a little, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the distribution system of a theater, and how many checks and balances and how many people have to get discouraged for one person to get there, you know. If you want to go into it, I have a couple of videos where I really talk about this. I have one called You're Already a Filmmaker on my main channel. And after Dax and I released our movie Drowning in Potential, I did a long ramble about filmmaking and how you can do it for free and how you don't have to wait for approval. But I have a hard time enjoying theatrical films nowadays for that reason, because I'm always thinking like this is the safest, like, lamest way to release a movie, when it's so much cooler and rebellious and bold to own your movie and release it yourself and not wait for a festival's approval, and not wait for a distributor to buy you, and not wait a year for that distributor to put you into circulation. You know, there's such an immediacy available online, and I don't think we have to sit on our art or hand our art over to other people and say, okay, you help me find an audience. We could, day we finish a movie, get it out there and start finding that audience ourselves. And I want to talk quite a bit about filmmaking as well on this channel, but primarily for the rest of this video, I just want to focus on my relationship to movies on YouTube. Back in March, I did a contest called Instead of Watching the Oscars, Make a Movie, because I always do this thing where I stream during the Oscars, and last year I made a movie during the Oscars, and this year I did it again and made my own movie, but I told my audience to also do it. And I had no clue how many people would do it. I thought like double digits. I thought like 20, 30, 40. But I wound up getting 580 movies submitted, which made me cry. I was like, as they were coming in, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is so much. And sadly, that project overwhelmed me so much, and I had so many other projects that I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'm getting there. I want to do the awards soon, and I will do that on the main channel, hopefully pretty soon. But I've been watching a lot of them lately. I like 2 or 3 every couple nights. I watch a couple, And I just love watching movies in this sphere because it's so detached from this old world way of viewing a film. You know, like the CinemaSins way of viewing a film, the nitpicking, the asking for perfection. You don't have that online because you don't expect that online. And then you add these crazy extreme limitations of shoot a movie in 3 hours, edit it in a week, and like nothing's gonna be perfect and polished. And that's like good, you know, that's a good thing. And you know, I'm watching these movies, and everyone, whether it's like something goofy and it's making me laugh just because it's people having fun, or it's something that's trying to be a little more dramatic or philosophical or personal, and I'm just like, it's so cool how much people can accomplish on their own in such a short time frame. And so many of my favorite movies lately have come either from that contest or from the internet at large, because you detach it from this customer product relationship. You know, it's hard to go to a theater and not feel a little like you're weighing the movie against the cost of the ticket. You're like, was this worth it? And every time the movie falters or if it seems cheap, you'd be upset because you're like, I'm paying for this. But then on YouTube, you don't have that I'm paying for this relationship. The only thing you're giving a movie is your time, and that's on you. And so you meet the movie halfway and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch you and you show me what you have to offer. And I just find so many beautiful movies in that sphere. A lot of great ones came out of quarantine. I think Mason Carter and I, not to brag, I think my friend Mason and I made the first ever quarantine movie. In April 2020, we released Forget About Everything for a While, which was shot in March and April during quarantine. I think we got the first quarantine movie out, which is exciting in my own prideful whatever. But that, I really love that movie. And then you saw a lot of them coming out from people. And this one, Zaid Aftab made Printer and the Boy, and did a little dedication at the beginning that said, thanks Joel Haver for showing me I can make movies. And that just hit me so hard. And it's a really great film. It's really well assembled. He acts and is pretty well made alone, and it tells a pretty compelling story for like something very simple and small scale. And then I have a lot of friends online who also do like no budget films and release them themselves. You know, Dan Lotz, Joel Dick, they have a channel, 922 Films. They did an amazing one for the Oscars contest. They did, he's doing like 12 features in 1 year, which is such an exciting idea. And I think that's just coming to a close. And my friend Cody Clark, he funds his own movies for like, you know, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and that's just money to get by on while he makes the movie. And you know, it releases them. And it's just so exciting because it's filmmaking where we don't realize it, I think, but we're running our own film community, our own film festival. But it's not the prestige of a festival. It's not like, oh, you got to be here. It's not everyone's welcome club. You know, it's not an exclusive club. It's anyone can do this. And more than ever, the Oscars contest showed that 580 people, most of which have never made a movie, freaking just doing it themselves and with what they have, and all of them are compelling and worth watching. And I just have such a great relationship with watching movies online because I'm never ever regretting my time. Even in like the longest, most experimental ones I've watched or the strangest ones I've watched, I'm just so excited that somebody went out of their way and made something. And they did it on their own volition, and they didn't wait for approval. They didn't ask for anybody's permission. They just made something and put it out and said, hey, you can watch this. And I do think that's the future. And I think we're already seeing a lot of the best movies being put online, and they're humble, they're smaller, they're not polished. You're not going to see the Avengers level of polish and perfection, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to just watch them as like creative projects and things that people made. It doesn't feel like they've been churned out of a system. They feel handcrafted and handmade, and they're flawed and they're messy and they don't always work, but that's part of it. That's not a detractor of films online, in the same way that CinemaSins would pick apart every single part of an Avengers movie. It's a very different film relationship, and I think the more you watch them, the more you understand that. You're like, I'm not watching a product, I'm watching somebody's art. And I think filmmaking has been bastardized and detached from the art through these financial systems and these roadblocks, and the fact that for the better part of a century it was an exclusive club to get a movie made, and it's just more accessible than ever, and it's coming back to this very humble, artful phase. And I think in the coming decades we're just going to see the fruits of that more and more, and I can't wait. I'm very excited. I don't even know what to title this ramble. It's all over the place. But I encourage, I'll link some of the ones I mentioned in the description. They're free to watch, which is a beautiful thing. And yeah, I'm excited for the Oscars contest. That should be up in the coming month, I'd say. Fingers crossed. And beyond that, I love you guys. Thanks for watching these rambles. They've been fun to make. It's a nice low stakes alternative to my main channel where I'm always editing and doing a lot. So thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. I love movies, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.